Hello, this is another video on Hornby Dublo maintenance. Today I would like to talk about couplings. Thank you. Now, first of all, a little demonstration on how couplings should work. As you see, the couplings are quite nice, and when they're properly set, they do work very well. But before the let me just straighten this out a little bit. There we go. Before we start on the couplings, the wagons must be in good condition also. The wheels should be clean and lubricated, and also the couplings should be lubricated. If all that is fine, then what I normally do is I have a setup on the side here. This is a slope. It's a 1 in 30 slope, and after I've cleaned and lubed the wagon, I just put it on the slope, and you see the wagon should roll away on its own on a 1 in 30 slope. Sometimes that's not possible to achieve due to various problems. Even the viscosity of your oil can cause this problem. Now, other problems that you can have with the wagon is that they can often derail themselves while they're going along. Now, a couple of problems there can be the distance between the wheels. I believe that should be 560 thou plus or minus about 3. So you can check that you're somewhere close to that. It's handy to have one of these little, they don't cost much, little vernier calipers there. And if you find there is a discrepancy, I often use something like this. It's a tool maker's clamp. You might be able to find it at a car boot sale or something, and I can just tease the wheel out a little bit by screwing the clamp up in that position, or I can also, if I adjust it out, I've ground the ends on this very thin, so that can also go in there, and like so, and I can squeeze the wheels back in if they go too much. Another problem that causes derailment on this is rocking. You see, there's just a tiny bit of rocking there. It's not. That's quite a good one, but sometimes they can be rocking something like that. They can rock an awful lot. So what you need to do there is you need to find out which wheel it is. So if it's rocking like that, then obviously one of these two wheels on these corners are going to be lower. Now, to find out which one is the highest one, you can just check the gap underneath the coupling down iron each side to see which is the largest. That way you can decide which axle you're going to adjust. Now, to adjust it, what I do is I undo the little tab in the top. There's a little tab here, and then you can pull. You only need to. You can get it off with just undoing one tab. You don't need to undo both of them. And then with a little bit of a fiddle, fingers and thumbs, this is the hanger. Now what you can do then is to file these two shoulders, this one here and this one here. You give it a little file, you put it back together and without folding the tab, and then just check, and if it's okay then fold the tab over, and hopefully you'll have a good rock free wagon. Okay, couplings. First of all, I think we should discuss the shape that a coupling should be. Now here's a coupling, and I've made a little sketch approximately the same. Now the shape of the coupling, this is the metal couplings of course. The plastic ones you can't do anything with them, they won't bend of course. Is if you line up the couplings so you can see the center line, or an imaginary line through the center of the coupling, then this piece of the coupling, this metal piece on there, should be parallel with the center line. Also, this one bends, you can bend this one up, and this angle here should be the same as this angle here. It's easy to eyeball, you don't need to measure anything. And then the last piece that can bend this way is this one, and this one is also parallel to this angle here. So if all's well, you can even look at a plastic one. A plastic one will sort of confirm what I've described there, that except for the plastic one has a little bit of a curve on the top face, which you don't need. I find actually it's better without that curve. To make it straight, it uncouples a little bit better. Right, now I've got one here somewhere. Now, as you see, there's one. Now that does work on the layout, but it will keep coming undone. So let's see how we can just fix that real quick. First of all, I can bend that up. That makes the angle here and here approximately the same. Now I can twist that around, and that has made that straight with that, and just a little touch on there to make, now this is parallel to this. It's quite easy. Looking from the side view, you see the down iron there, the down leg, well, that needs to be at 90 degrees. And also looking from the front, the down iron also needs to be 90 degrees that way. Now, one more, I noticed that the end of this coupling is tipped up like this. So if I just hold this there, I can just bend that so it's also 90 degrees. And there you go. The overall shape of that coupling now is much better than a minute ago, and that should work quite well. In order for these to all work together, they all need to be on the same line. So what I use here is just an old chassis off a brake van actually, and I've made sure that the coupling here is just a little bit tight, so there's no end play, there's no up and down movement on it. You can still move it, but I've just hammered the rivet a little bit to nip it up. Right then, I set all my wagons, hopefully this one's set, to the same height as that coupling there. You see, this is just a little bit high, so what I would do in this case is just push it down a little bit. So they all have the same height. That way you can, they will couple up. Also the down irons, I use a blade. This is about 20 thou thick, and the recommended distance in Michael Foster's book is 30 thou, I think, or 31 thou. So because there's a little bit of droop on these, there's always a little bit of play, so a little bit of droop. That's why I've used something a bit thinner. And what I do is I just adjust the down irons. You can see that one. This is my tester car. It just you can see a little bit of pressure. It's just only touching there. And then I'll do the same on all my wagons. See, that's just scraping over the top. I think that you can just hear it actually scraping as it goes. If it doesn't go, then you'll have to twist your coupling up and down in order that it does. Otherwise your coupling uncouplers will not work so well. If you have one where the height of the coupling itself is correct, and then there's still a big gap underneath the down piece, and you can just twist in the top there a little bit, and that'll bring your down iron a little bit closer to the track. Okay, now if you do need to take a coupling out, say you have a broken one, you're going to need a couple of tools. Let me just move this. There we go. Now what I got here is just a little bit of, it's a hole punch actually, but it's a little bit of pipe would do, or I used to use a little socket from a socket set. But as long as it fits over the rivet, and the actual coupling will sit on top of it, like so, then that's what you need. I put it in the vise like so. Then I have a very fine punch here. It's made from an old Allen key that I chopped off and then thinned the edge down, and that is small enough to go through the hole in the rivet, the rivet hole after it's been punched out. So then it's in the vise. I place the rivet over the pipe like that, and then just tap it down like so. And there you go, it's easy, it just comes out quite easy. Now to put it back together, if you want it, after you've changed your rivet, you'll need to just file the top corner of this rivet a little bit, like so, and it'll go back in. They're a little bit fiddly, and then what I do, once it's back together, I change my setup. I just put a piece of, this is just a bit of square steel that actually it'll fit nicely on the bottom of the rivet like so. So I just put that in the vise, and then I'll use just a regular center punch. It's a point on the end. Put the rivet together and just tap the end like so. It'll swell it out, and it'll hold it as good as new. Another thing you can get with these rivets, with the rivets and the couplings, is excessive play there. Now sometimes the rivets are just a bit too too big. The flanges inside is just a little bit too big, and they're loose, and nothing you can do about it except for changing the rivet altogether. But first you should check to see that they're tight. Well, actually, this one is a little bit loose. It turns. So if it is loose like that, you can just put it on to your anvil and give it a good tap like that, and there, it's you can still turn it, but it is tight now, and it probably took a little bit of play out of that. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.